All right, Shalom. First, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Makah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. I just wanted to do a quick video on this article. All right, more of Esau's madness. All right, which here he's saying the moon is 85 million years younger than we thought, say German scientists. All right, and it's funny because you actually have people that believe, all right, these Esau scientists and his so-called wise men, when they come out and make these horrendous statements talking about the earth was I don't know, a billion years old and all this extra madness. All right, when here it is, you don't have any proof to back it up. Were you there? No. How do you know? You know, you're using your quote unquote technology and a brain that the Most High gave you to try and counteract the Most High. Or the scriptures was really the history of creation was given to Moses by the Most High, by Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. All right, so I mean, we take that over what Esau's going, because really Esau's making a lot of things up, and you'll hear it as we go. It says, and it shows you that he's not a God-fearing man, because otherwise his published sayings and so-called research wouldn't be contradicting what the scriptures say. It says planetary geophysicists have used a new numeric model to determine that the moon is in fact 85 million years younger than previously thought, having formed from the extremely violent and unlikely collision of two protoplanets. Let's look that up. Protoplanets. A large body of matter in orbit around the sun or a star thought to be developing into a planet. How do you even know that? Where do you come up with that? You know? But people never ask that. Oh, the scientists, geophysicists, they said it? Okay, it's their profession. Let's believe them. No. All right, and I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'll jump through. All right, it says, the Bofins at German Aerospace Center, led by Maxim Maurice, produced a model to more accurately calculate what exactly happened when the protoplanet Theia smashed into a nascent and still forming Earth about 4.425 billion years ago. My man, where are you getting this from? 4.425 billion years ago? Does that make sense to you? The Earth ain't even that old. All right, the creator of the Earth told us it's not that old. You know, so where the hell you coming from with all this madness? You can, first off, you haven't been able to even discover everything that is on the earth. You don't even understand everything in the earth, and you're gonna worry about how the earth was created. You're gonna tell us what happened all these years ago. Man, hey, Esau, you're trying to, you know, do too much. All right, this is above your pay grade, man. Okay, you gotta just chill. You gotta just chill. It says previous estimations has suggested the moon formed about around 4.51 billion years ago. That is about 85 million years earlier. The new model suggests, I want to see this model too. It suggests, however, that it was millions of years later, when the molten earth was still in the process of taking shape and covered in a vast ocean of liquid magma, that the collision took place. Man, and people actually believe this. Yo, man, this is, you know. It says, it was then, they say, that Theia blindsided the world we call home, firing off a large globule of magma into space, which would later form the moon that orbits our planet. Man, that's some BS, man. All right, let's get into the scriptures, because this is just madness. All right, now we're gonna go into Genesis chapter 1. All right, verse 1, because this goes into the creation. All right, and mainly into the creation of the sun and the moon. All right, and the earth. Okay, which it doesn't mention anything about any Theas and millions of years. It doesn't. No. All right. It says in the beginning the powers created the heaven and the earth. Now it says it took 7 days. which when you go into 2 Peter 3 and 8, it tells you how long, all right, the day was. All right, it says, but beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with the Lord as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as one day. Key word is with the Lord. All right. So one day to the Lord, to us, is 1,000 years. So it took the powers, Yahushua, and the angels 7 days, which would have taken us, or in our time would be equivalent to 7,000 years, or 6,000 years, because they rested on the 7th day in the 7,000 year. Okay, that's what this means. So if creation took 7,000 years, all right, and when you go into the book of Ezra, which I have here, it'll show you that the earth isn't that long, that old. Okay, if anything, it's about what, 12,000 years, 13,000 years. Okay, so where the hell you getting 85 million, 4.4 something billion? That's the vain mindset of Esau, man. Okay, trying to seek things that are above him. So and I'm not gonna go too deep with the breakdown, because we've done different videos going in on it. But Genesis 1:1, in the beginning, now it says God. We understand that God, the word God in Hebrew does not mean, it's not the Most High's name. All right, the word God in Hebrew is Allah, but in this sense, when you click on it, in the beginning, notice how it's plural. It's Allah Ha Yam. All right, Ha meaning the, Allah meaning power, and the Yam at the end making it plural. So the powers. Okay, now powers, when you click on it, all right, is plural, is referring to rulers, judges, divine ones. Angels are divine. It says it right there, angels, gods. Okay, so when it says God, it's not, number one, it's not singular. Really, it should have said in the beginning the powers. Okay, but when you read it with the understanding, you'll notice that the pronouns are a little off. Okay, in the English. All right, but when you read it correctly, it should say in the beginning the powers, or the angels, okay, led by the Messiah, Yahushua. Because when you go here, the Hebrews, guys, 1:1, it says, the Most High, who at sundry times and in diverse manners spake in time past unto the fathers by the prophets, hath in these last days spoken unto us by his Son. Who is his Son? Yahushua, not Jesus, Yahushua, whom he hath appointed heir of all things, by whom also he made the worlds. Okay, so that's and when you go to Colossians 1:15, it also tells you that it was Yahushua who created heaven and the earth, because the Most High gave him and the rest of the angels the blueprints, okay, to go and create these things. But the Most High gets the credit. Just like when you build a house, you're not physically building it. You have construction workers that do it, but you would say it's your house, you know. So in the beginning, the powers created the heaven and the earth. Okay, it says, and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the spirit of the powers moved upon the face of the waters. It says, and the powers said, let there be light. And you'll understand why I'm using the pronoun of plurality, because when you jump down to verse where is it at? I believe it might be in another chapter. All right, when they said, let us make man in our image. Okay, it might be in the first chapter. Maybe I missed it. Okay, let's go down. Yep, verse 26. And the power said, let us make man in our image. You see? So that shows you that it can't be talking about a singular, the pronoun can be singular. Because when you look up the word there, Allahayim is plural. Allah is single. Allahayim is plural. That's why they said us. Because it wasn't just one person doing this. All right. So just going through, remember the main point is trying to going into the creation of the sun and the moon. Because here they're saying Thea, all right, shot off some globium of magma into space and created the moon. Well, let's see what the Most High said. All right. Genesis 1 and 3. And the power said, let there be light, and there was light. Now this was before the sun and the moon were created. All right. But they were able to create light, all right, or some form of light, which they call the day. Okay. And then they created the sun and the moon, all right, to rule the light in the day and the light in the night. Which you can have light without having the sun. Okay. But it says, and the power said, let there be light, and there was light. And the powers saw the light, that it was good. And the powers divided the light from the darkness. And the powers called the light day, and the darkness they, it should say they, and the darkness they called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. So in the first day, they created day and light. They formed the earth, created day and light. Okay, and this was before the sun and the moon were created. Okay, because if you notice, every element has a little aura around it, which can give off light. You can have, for example, the way light bulbs work. Okay, when you go into it, the what we perceive as light is really photons. Okay, electromagnetic radiation is really photons, which we perceive as light, which comes from different atoms. Okay, and that's all these elements are made of different atoms. So when the atom gets energy or it gets charged, and the electrons inside the atom start moving about, each time they move about, they release these photons, which can create light. So yes, in essence, you can have light without the sun and the moon. Okay, but after they had done this, okay, because when you go into let me get a precept on that. I believe it's 2nd Ezra 6 verse 38. All right, Ezra tells you the same thing. 2nd Ezra chapter 6 verse 38. All right, it says verse 38, and I said, O Lord, thou spakest from the beginning of the creation, even the first day, and saidest thus, let heaven and earth be made, and thy word was a perfect work. And then was the spirit, and darkness and silence were on every side, and the sound of man's voice was not yet formed, because man wasn't created yet. Then commandest thou a fair light to come forth out of thy treasures, that thy work might appear. So in order for it not to be complete darkness, they had to create some form of light. All right, so let's keep going. It says, and the powers called the light day, and the darkness they called night, and the evening and the morning were the first day. All right, it says, and the powers said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. So what does that mean? That means that you have the firmament, which is our atmosphere, okay, the ozone layer and all the different layers, okay, that is the division between the waters above in space and the waters that are on the earth. When you read in the time of Noah, the Lord said what? The windows of heaven were open. So the Lord caused rain, water to come from space, and he opened up the waters from the earth. All right, abundantly. So it says, verse 8, and the powers called the firmament heaven. See, so this is where you got to get the understanding. Whenever people hear heaven, they think of one thing. Okay, Paul mentioned the third heaven. Okay, third, which was the spirit world. All right, 2 Corinthians chapter 12 verse 2. It says, it is not expedient for me doubtless to glory. I will come to visions and revelations of the Lord. I knew a man in Hamashiach above 14 years ago. He's speaking about himself. Whether in the body, I cannot tell, or whether out of the body, I cannot tell, the Most High knoweth. Because what he experienced was, I guess what you call astral projection, or an out of body experience, because he died. So his spirit left his body and he went to the spirit world. But then the Most High sent him back because he still had work to do. So it says, such an one caught up to the third heaven. You see, the third heaven. So when you go in here, you'll notice that the firmament is one kind of heaven. Okay, you also have the spirit world, which is another kind of heaven. Okay, and so when we talk about the kingdom of heaven, we're not talking about the third heaven or the firmament. We're talking about a kingdom, okay, of heaven. All right. So it says, and the powers called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day. Notice how it starts with the evening and the morning. Why? Because darkness was before light. Okay, so really the day starts in the evening. Okay, when the sun goes down, that's the beginning of the day into the next day. It's just in today's day and age, Esau has changed, all right, the times. The scriptures say, see if I can find it. Yep, Daniel 7:25. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High. The saints of the Most High are Israelites, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and a dividing of time. See, so that's what he's done with the calendar and with many other things. Going on, verse 9. And the power said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together onto one place, and let the dry land appear, and it was so. All right, now notice it said the dry land, because back in the ancient world before the flood, it was one land, as you know, as Pangea. And then after Noah's flood, it got broken up. That's why when you look at let me put this up, Pangea. When you look at the earth, it looks like a big puzzle. All right, now let's look at something right here. You see this right here? No, you see how when it breaks up, when they put it back together, they all fit, and then it gets broken up, but they all fit together because through the flood, that's how these why do you think the Africa looks like it fits right there with South America? Okay, and the rest of these continents. Okay, why? Because it's all you know, it was all together at one point. All right. Verse 10, it says, and the powers called the dry land earth, Aratzah, which is earth in Hebrew, and the gathered waters, and the gathering together of the waters called he seas, and the powers saw that, or called they seas, and the powers saw that it was good, Tawab. And the power said, let the earth, cool, what I'm looking for is the lights. Okay, jump down to verse 14. And the power said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven. Now remember, that's talking about our atmosphere. Okay, so what lights did the Lord put in our atmosphere? It says to divide the day from the night. Okay, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. Now, what do we use the moon for? Where do you think the word month comes from? The word month comes from the word moon, because we use the moon for signs, and we use it to tell different months apart. Okay, it says, and you know, the Lord shows different signs in the heavens, shooting stars, all these different signs, eclipses. All right, it says, and let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and it was so. And the powers made two great lights. See, they made the lights, not no Thea. All right, so the scriptures say that the powers made two great lights. So Yahushua and the angels made the lights. Okay, it wasn't what Esau, because Esau is the same person who turned around and say the Big Bang Theory is what made everything, right? Well, first off, you don't even know how to make a cow without another cow, you know, but you could tell us how the earth was made. You don't know how to make a bee without another bee. You don't know how to make honey without a bee, and you don't know how to make a bee. You know, you don't know how to make a human being without another human being. But at some point there was a beginning, right? So you can't even explain any of that, but you're gonna tell us how the earth was made. But you can't even explain how certain things in the earth were first made. Can you take actual clay and make it into a living being? No. But you could tell us how the earth, which has all these things in it, were made? Come on, man. Come on, man. So yeah, so they talking about Thea spewed some magma, which is basically like hot fluid, you know, like sort of like lava. That's what it looks like, and that's where you get the I guess that's where you get the moon from. All right, they spewed into space, and then it later formed the moon. Get out of here with that, man. So it says, verse 16, and the powers made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. And the lesser light is the moon. All right, the greater light is the sun, which is in the daytime, and then the lesser light is the moon, which is at night. And the moon does give a light, and no, the moon's light is not a reflection of the sun, because the sun is down. All right, when the moon is up. Okay, it says he made the stars also. Now, when you go back to 2nd Ezra 6, all right, and I'm going to go down verse 45. It says, upon the 4th day thou commandest that the sun should shine and the moon give her light, not the light that she gets reflected off the sun, but give her light, okay, and that the stars should be in order. So the scriptures are plain. They cover everything, man. All right, that's why we're not deceived by Esau's scientists and all these different things, because we know what the actual truth is. All right, it says, and the powers set them, which is what, the greater light and the lesser light, in the firmament of the heaven. Remember, the firmament is our atmosphere, to give light upon the earth. So the Lord created the moon and the sun to give light where? On the earth. Not to any other planets, but on the earth. That's why they're in our firmament. They tell you the sun is thousands of light years away. That's a damn lie. The power of heaven and earth said what? He had them put it in our firmament. That's why when you go outside in the summer, it's blazing hot. You feel that heat. You're not feeling heat from 1,000 light years away. You're feeling heat from the sun that's above you. Okay? It says, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from darkness. And the powers saw that it was good, and the evening and the morning were the 4th day. Alright, so boom, that right there shows you that what? That's how the lights, the sun and the moon were created. It wasn't a million and how years ago. No. Alright, now in closing, I'm going to get this. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 14, verse 10. It says, for the world hath lost its youth, and the times begin to wax old. Because just like everything, you have and that's the spirit, because in the kingdom, the earth is gonna be eternally young. The earth ain't gonna lose its youth. Okay? Like how we're reading up here. It says, for the world is divided into 12 parts. Alright, and this is talking about time. Okay? As in 12,000 years. It says, and 10 parts of it are gone already. And half of a 10th part. So at this time that Ezra is speaking, all right, the angel is telling him that he's in the half of the 10th part. All right, that means 9,000 years and a half. Okay, because half of the 10th part means in the middle of the 10,000 year, or the 10th part. Okay, so roughly, all right, from the time of Ezra to Yahushai's time, all right, which is where they stop going from BC to AD. All right, that's roughly, like I said, around 500 years. Okay, which will be the second half of that 10th part. So upon Yahushai's appearance, okay, around 2,000 years ago, that was what? That was the completion of the 10th part. Okay, it says, look, and there remaineth that which is after the half of the 10th part, which is what? The other half of the 10th part, and then the 2,000 years in addition, because it says there was 12 parts. Okay, so if by the time of Ezra 9,000 nine and a half parts, all right, were gone already, then that means you'll be left with 2.5 parts to make it 12 parts. All right, which would be roughly 2,500 years. Okay, which we're in that we're past the 12th part. Okay, but we're that shows you that we're very close. Okay, to the Lord taking down Esau's kingdom. Okay, and refreshing the earth and setting us in that eternal rulership, to where even the earth is gonna be eternal, man. Okay, because the scriptures tell you that the earth abideth forever, but when we're in rulership, the earth is gonna stay in its youth forever, and it's gonna yield to us the best of the finest fruits forever. Okay, so this is basically 12,000 years. Where do you get 85 million years from? You know, did the angels miss something? Did the angel misunderstand the message the Lord was trying to tell him to give Ezra? Well, I said 12 billion years. You went and told him 12,000 or 12 parts. What's that about? Oh, damn, Slaki, let me go read that. Let me go give it to Esau and let Esau bring it out in an article, and then that way we could correct it. No. All right? No. Esau, you first off, your dumbasses were out here in the caves, the Caucasus mountain somewhere, all right, eating burnt meat and you know, raw herbs and all those different things, braying and making those weird animalistic sounds like cavemen. And you're going to come out and tell us, okay, the chosen people of the Lord, the prophets of the Lord, which the Lord said what? He reveals his secrets to his servants, the prophets. Not to those that he hates. The Lord said he hates Esau. Okay? The only things the Lord revealed to Esau is for prophecy's sake. Alright, the knowledge of this technology, to advance technology pursuant to Daniel's 12. Okay? To bring forth an instrument for his work, which is those nuclear missiles. That's the only reason, man. But anyway, the point was made. Okay, I just wanted to go into that, man. It just shows you, and that's why the scriptures say, man, hey, really, we're blessed, man. Our eyes are open because we're not fooled by this. There's people who actually believe this. They'll see oh, wow, beautiful. Oh, my gosh, the moon is 85 million years. No, that's false. All right? The earth ain't even a million. It ain't even 100,000 years old. Okay? Anyway, with that, I hope this was edifying unto the elect. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakha, Kodash. Until next time, Shalom.